Good morning, everybody. Let's check we're in the right place. Come on, Facebook, refresh. Okay, we are good to go. Let me just share this to my group quickly. Oh, I am chilly this morning. Where are we? There we are. Okay, all shared. Yeah, I keep rubbing my hands this morning. I'm chilly over here and I've got the door open downstairs so that Alfie can wander in and out. Those of you that come over to my studio, you know when Alfie's over here with us, he sits down at the bottom of the stairs and kind of watches the world go by outside. Occasionally comes up to say hello, but he's straight back down there. I have got a little bed up here for him, which he does lie on. He does. If it's wet outside, he'll come up and lie down up here with me, but most of the time he's downstairs in the hallway, so I just feel I need to leave the door open, so he's got something to look at down there. So yeah, I'm a bit chilly. Okay, welcome back to Stamp and Chat. Who is joining me? Anybody here yet? I know a couple of you are not able to stamp with me live this morning. So if you are here, please do say hello. It's lovely to have someone to talk to while I'm stamping. And please do share with your crafty friends as well. So if you can share this on your page, it would be really much appreciated, because the more people that get to see it, the better. So what a busy week last week was for me, and it's not going to be looking any quieter with things that are coming up, but I'll chat with you about that along the way. So last week, Sophie, my daughter, bought their first home. They exchanged contracts on Wednesday at about 3:00 in the afternoon, I believe, and then actually got the keys the following day. So it was pretty hectic because we were the removal company. So we helped load up the lorry. Jason brought the lorry to them and we loaded it up, and it was busy, but we got there. So I feel like I'm catching up with myself this week on sleep. I've not been sleeping that well. You know when you get in that zone of waking up at a certain time, and my time seems to be 1:30 and then not being able to go back off. So I'm hoping that I'm going to get out of that habit soon. Oh, morning Ruby, how are you today? Are you feeling chilly, or is it nice and toasty in your house? I hope so. Okay. So welcome back to the Love of Leaves Stamp and Chat. We are on week 2. This is the card that we made last week. Now I've zoomed my camera down in a bit closer today because looking back I feel that I'm sort of stamping from a distance with you. So let me know what you think. If I'm too close, then I can adjust that. So here's the card we made last week. This is my original card. Okay, so you will need to pull out your card bag number 2. Those of you that are able to stamp with me live today, this is what I'm going to be making with you. So not too heavy on the stamping, unless of course you have Mossy Meadow ink to hand, or another dark green. And if you have grey granite, then obviously in your kits you have these die cut pieces that I've done for you. But if you're happy to stamp them using your stamps that are in your set, then you're more than welcome to do that and replace my die cuts. So as you know, we're only using, with the kit, we're only using the Bumblebee ink. So I only wanted to do one leaf in that colour. So it's very limited, which is why it is quite heavy on the die cut pieces. So pop that to one side. So we're using the Love of Leaves stamp set. I'm also using, let's just bring in the dies. So I know some of you've purchased this die set. Let's have a look. Ruby, you think it's a good distance? Okay, great, thank you. We'll see how we go along. hopefully it'll be fine. So yes, these are the Stitched Leaves dies. They are stunning, absolutely stunning. And as you can see, they work standalone, or you can use them with your stamped images as well. Okay, and also what's really good is once you've die cut a piece like this, you can actually use the negative that's left behind from the piece that you push out. So we're using those, and then throughout the series I am also using the Tasteful Label dies, which are kind of one of my go-to die sets at present, along with the stitched labels, which are fabulous. So those of you that have ordered the kits will receive die cuts already. Okay, right, let me locate my pieces and mount up some stamps. So we are using this stamp here, this leaf with the long stem, and I think I will need a D block for that. I'm going to mount it diagonally just to save me using a much larger block. And we also need this greeting. Your friendship is something I know I can count on. Now, if that's not your cup of tea, you can pull something else out or find something else from your stash. My card is not set in stone. You can go off-piste if you wish. I will not be offended in any way. I'm going to also grab out from my stamp set this stamp. I need to locate another block. Let's have a look. I'm going to mount up this one, and I'm going to stamp it and cut it out, and we're going to hover it over our card to see what it will look like if it wasn't die cuts. Okay, but that one's not a necessity for you to do. So let's pop this stamp set to one side. I've still got that frog in my throat, so you'll have to bear with me if I feel the need to cough. So you do have a sponge in your kit, but we're not going to be using that one today, but I'm pretty sure you'll need it for next week. And you'll also need to take out your enamel dots. Okay, so I am wondering, shall I put this card to one side and you can literally watch me as I go? Let's have a look. Anyone else is commenting? I think I will. I think you're going to watch me as I go rather than having this on view so that you can see what we're doing. So I hope you've located your card pack number 3. Number 2 even, sorry about that. Now you have pieces in here. You have 2 pieces of Whisper White. One is slightly smaller. So the smaller piece is your front layer. You will already be able to determine that because I've already done your die cutting. Well, it's not die cutting, you're embossing on it using the die. You will also need your grey granite base layer. So to start with, I'm just going to fold this one in half and crease along the edge. And I'm just going to pop that to one side for a moment. I have to keep checking my view because I'm not used to having you so close. So, oops, tripping over my chair behind me. I'm just locating my cutting plates for my cut and emboss machine. So if you owned the dies and you weren't doing this with my kits, because obviously I've already done this for you, you'd need to locate this gorgeous die here, which is just so useful. Adds a lot of interest for something I think that's just so plain. It just adds a lovely bit of texture, and I'm just going to pop that one down on the top there like that. Pop my top plate on, and I'm just going to run that through my machine behind me so that I don't create a wobble. But I think you can still hear me while I'm behind, turning my back to you. I've got a pretty good microphone attached to my foam because, as you know, my foam one isn't so great. I might leave that there for just a moment and do a bit more cutting. So there we go. Isn't that wonderful? I do love that every time. And that's come out quite clean as well. So as I mentioned last time, quite often you get bits from your cutting plate stuck in these holes, and if you've got the die brush or the take your pick tool with a little brush on the end, you can just get all of those pieces out. So I actually did a better job of making this one straight because last week it was rather crooked and I wasn't pleased, if you remember. So that's our first layer. Next, I'm going to die cut my leaves. So I'm going to take these pieces, and there are two of these, and I think I did mention last week that they aren't identical, they're different. So let's just pop these down, and I do believe that is, I quite often find it's easier to place the centerpiece down first, because you can do these together or you can do them separately, entirely up to you. See, now I am thinking that is not the right one because it doesn't line up very well. That's better, that's definitely the right one. And you don't have to be too particular about this being central because it's quite forgiving and it does look fine even if that centerpiece, so that centerpiece is the part, let's just show you on the card, that does this stitched center. Okay, let's pop my layer on and I'll do the other leaf after because I don't want these moving. Just run that through. And that totally moved when I swung myself around. So I'm just going to have to line that back up and run that through. Oh, that was stiff going over. Yeah, so I kind of feel like I'm chasing my tail at the moment. Ellie, you've arrived. Hi Ellie, how are you? Took you a while for your Facebook to find me. Ooh. Facebook is doing funny things. Is anybody else experiencing funny things with Facebook at the moment? It won't let me play videos that people are doing or rewatch lives, or it will. I will begin watching it and then the screen will go blank and tell me that the video is not available. It's doing all sorts of strange things. So you found your kit in a pile of post. Ah, the kit I posted you, is that the one you mean? Has it arrived? Am I recutting? I'll be good to know if it's arrived anyway. Easy for things to get missed in piles of post. Okay, next. I've already die cut this for those of you, but we need a piece of grey granite cardstock, and we're going to use this big leaf. I think this leaf is my favourite out of all of them. Just lining that one in. Pop my top plate on and not move so fast because my top plate has a slight bow on it. Can you see it just moved then? But I'm going to leave it exactly where it is because it will be fine once it comes out. Wind that around. Just pop that to one side so we don't need that for just a minute. Oh, that was close. How frugal is that? So what I was saying about using the negative, I should have done it with this actually. If I'd have die cut in that position with my leaf in the middle, we would have had a nice even border around the outside, and then you could have used this negative, the leftover piece, to create on another card. You could have layered it on, and also you can use this to sponge, so you can take your sponge and do some sponging or some spritzing. So always think about the pieces that you're leaving behind. Oh, you found another kit and I need to recut. Oh goodness. Good old Royal Mail didn't deliver, did it? Never mind. It's got lost somewhere along the way. I will arrange to recut you some kits and get them in the post, Ellie, as soon as I can. So, yeah, I was saying what a busy week it was last week with Sophie moving house, bless her. And also I have my retreat coming up. Not this weekend coming, weekend after. So I'm pretty snowed under. The studio's in a bit of an untidy state at this present. But I will get there. I've got lots to do, lots of prep still to do. But I will get there. I just need to get stuck in. So yes, die cuts done. Okay, so at this point, to get this out of the way, I'm going to lay this one straight down onto my base layer. Bit of Tombow around the edge or adhesive of your choice. I tend to go to my Tombow first. I do love the Stampin' Seal, but it's not usually my first port of call. So let's just lay that one down. Like that, and I'm just going to pop that to one side just for a moment. Let's do some stamping. Alfie's come up to join me. Okay, so you need to take your leafy stamp, piece of scrap white. You've got plenty of scrap white in your kit. And we're just going to ink this up. Now I'm not sure whether I stamped off, so I'm going to do 2 and see which I prefer. Do you remember last week I did 2 and I did the stronger of the 2? I'm just going to huff on this just to rejuvenate. That's very pale. That is very pale. Which one shall I choose? I'm going to die cut them both and then I'm going to choose after. Let's just snip that off because we can use that in a moment. And the end piece of your scrap. Take the greeting of your choice, which is that one. Let's just have a look. Oh, Ellie, I'm getting totally confused now. So you've got the right kit, so I don't need to recut. Okay, I maybe read that wrong. So, well, that's good news because I'm super busy around here. Of course, I would have made the time to recut, but it's one less thing that I'm going to have to do. So that's fab. I'm glad it's arrived so you can get creating. So let's ink up my greeting. Your friendship is something I know I can count on. That's lovely, isn't it? Okay, and I'm going to take from the Tasteful Labels, I've used this die. Let's bring back in my cutting plates and see if we can do this in one go. Guys, I still have not got my magnetic plate for this. I'm terrible, aren't I? I'm one of those demonstrators that puts the order through when we have a pre-order, and I tell all my team to order your catalogues, and then I go and forget to order them myself. So yeah, I really need to get the magnetic plate because it's going to make my life a bit easier. So I'm just going to line this one in. We're not doing any stitching on this one. Move that bit over. Not going to do the stitched on this one, but of course if you've got the stitched dies at home, you can add the stitched part, which is this one. You can run that through as well. So let's just run this through my cutter cut and emboss machine. Has anybody got this machine yet? I absolutely love it. It looks pretty, it performs really well. There we go, just push that one out. Because this has got a slight stitching, you might just need to help it out a little. It's not stuck in there, it just grips onto all the small parts of the die. Put that to one side. And then I'm going to cut. And by cutting, gives you a chance to catch up. I can feel a sneeze coming. That is not good. It's gone. You know when that sneeze is coming. And then it just disappears. Thank goodness. Okay, just cutting this second leaf. Now, if you've not got the dies, you will be fussy cutting this one. I did fussy cut mine for you last week, and to be honest, it's all of the leaves in here are quite easy to cut around. So look at that lovely negative piece left there. That is not going in my bin. I'm going to save that for a future project. Does anybody else have that little bag or box? Let's put that to one side, of scraps that is like their go-to when they need to make a card really quick. You go to that little bag, and in there you might have the odd leaf and the odd greeting, and you can put a card together. And I love that. I love going to my little spares bag. Anyone else do that? I'm not alone. I'm surely not alone on that one. I'm just checking comments. I'm letting those of you that are fussy cutting catch up. Okay, what else do we need to do? You will have one of the flowers from the small bloom punch. Just get a scrap and punch one of those out, and then I've got all of my pieces together. I'm done with you. What else do I need? I think while I'm stamping, I'm going to do this leaf. For those of you, let's move you out of the way, that have got a Mossy Meadow ink pad at home, or even a garden green, a nice dark green. I'm just going to ink up this one. And I'm going to do two. One with a second generation. I love that we can create different tones. You might notice before I die cut, I always snip off the excess rather than running it through, because you will know that when you run it through, unless you have brand new plates, it will actually mark the piece that you're not die cutting. So I like to keep mine nice and smooth for stamping on, so I always cut off the excess and put it to one side rather than running the whole piece. And as you can see, my plate is in a pretty awful state, but it still works. It's still working, it's still doing its job. Now I'm just going to line. Easier to pop this one in the middle first, I find, and then that one over the top. What are you doing, Alfie? He's come up to lie on his bed with me. Bless him. Okay, just run this through. And then while I'm over here, I will just, oh, that one wasn't very good at all. See, look, look at that one. That was a bit of a fail. I definitely need the magnetic plate to help me. To help my dies stop moving about. Okay. Going as quickly as I can. Leaving you all there in the lurch. Okay, Okay, we don't need that piece. Right, how are we all doing? Who's stamping live? Are you getting there? Are you keeping up? That was a fail, wasn't it? I need that magnetic plate. We'll stick with just the one for now so I can show you how different it looks. Okay, I think that's stamping done. So another quick look at our card. Okay, let's bring the base back in and start building everything together. Where's all my pieces? They are here. So to start with, I'm going to lay down, you've got 2 pieces of soft sea foam, same width, one longer than the other, and we're literally just popping these down like this. Okay, so a bit of Tombow along here, and I'm just going to lay this one down roughly about there. Got a little mark there to get my adhesive remover on that. I think that's straight. Hard to tell when you're not completely over your project. A bit more. Hope you can see what I'm doing. It's a job for me to let's move you up a bit. And this one goes quite a bit above with just an even border each side. Are we straight? I think we are. I'm just going to locate my adhesive remover. I mean, this is mine. I'm sure yours is about this big and square, but I cut mine into pieces and I've donated pieces to other people, but it's fabulous. Sadly, we don't sell this anymore. We obviously didn't sell enough of them, or everybody purchased them and then nobody else needed one, because they do kind of last forever, but a great little gadget to have. Ruby, you're keeping up, just about. Okay, honey, there's no pressure. There is no pressure. Ellie, what are you up to? You've got a stash of trimmings that need tidying up. Yeah, I was yesterday, I finished off cutting some kits for a class, and I felt inspired to have a little bit of a tidy up of a corner in my studio, because I'm sure we've all got that little area that kind of becomes your dumping ground, and you bring something over and then you don't know where to put it, so it goes in that corner. And you're probably losing me now because I'm turning around looking at my corner in delight now, because I brought over a shelf that we had and I've made it all nice and tidy over there, so I'm really pleased about that. But it does mean that I've got lots of things from that corner that actually I don't really need. So do watch this space, watch on my group, because I've got a few things that I'm going to be selling and getting rid of as well, and some things I'm going to be giving away. I've got a couple of scrapbook albums that I don't have a use for anymore. So if you scrapbook yourself, or you've got a friend that does scrapbooking, drop me a message, because I've got a couple of albums here and I'd love them to go to a home that's going to get some use from them. So, right, how are we doing? Ruby Ellis, your whole desk. What do you mean your whole desk? Do you mean your whole desk needs tidying up, or your desk has lots of odd bits and pieces that you need to use up? Okay, sometimes it's really good to challenge yourself, actually, to make a card with the bits and pieces you've got left from the project you've just finished. So that's always something good to do. Okay, I am waffling. Next, you need your stitched circle. Who doesn't love these dies? Absolutely brilliant set. Probably one of my most used sets of dies. So in there you get, I think it's 4 different sizes of circles, squares and ovals, and they're just so pretty. Okay, let's pop some dimensionals that I haven't got out. Where are they hiding? Under my card. So let's just pop some on the back. One in the middle. Like that. And lay this one down over here, like so. Next, I think we'll take your stamped greeting. You may not have used my little decorative stitch circle. You may have used a scrap of card. So whatever you have used, I'm looking around to see if I've got a scrap. You may have used something like this. Whatever you've used, just pop it on here, or find a little place for it. I'm sure it will look just fine. And I'm just going to add Tombow on the back because I've already raised up this circle, so I don't really want to give any more height to it, unless of course I knew this was being hand delivered, and I probably would raise that layer up because I love a bit of height, a bit of depth. Okay, what should we do next? Let's add our stamped leaf in, and let's have a think about which one we want to use. What did I use last week? Just grab the card that I actually made with you last week. I used the dark one. That looks too wishy, doesn't it? Now if I were to add them both, that would look fine, but today I'm only adding one, so I think I'm going to stick with the dark, and I'm going to save that one for later. So I'm going to pop a dimensional just on the back here, and just lay it over this side, just about there, I think, just so it's just overlapping like that. Next, my grey granite. I love grey. Ruby, your desk is a real mess. Oh, bless you. I know, it's so easy to get in a pickle, isn't it? I do try. I'm a bit of a tidy freak, as you can probably all imagine. When I use something, I like to put it away, and at the end of the day, when I finish crafting, I like to tidy my space so that when I come back to it next time, it's not like, oh gosh, what a mess. It's like a breath of fresh air, and I'm ready, and my mind is positive to get creating because I've got a nice tidy area. But when I'm in the zone and when I'm creating, I'm surrounded by stamps, blocks, punches all around me, and it gets closer and closer, and it comes in and in until you've got this tiny little workspace in front of you. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. So yeah, I think it's always good, like I said, at the end of your session to have a little tidy up. I mean, if you're coming back to it the next day, then that's fine, but I just think it's always good to have a clean desk when you've totally finished with the project. So I've just turned the ends up on this one, and we're going to pop it down under there like that. I think I'm not going to pop a dimensional under, literally just popping a bit of Tombow under there like that, and about there like that, a little bit low. I don't want it to overhang my card too much, otherwise it isn't going to fit in the envelope. Okay, now if you've stamped these leaves, love the depth on that. In fact, maybe on this one I will add one stamped leaf and one die cut. Do you think? Yeah, let's do that. So Ruby, if you've got Mossy Meadow or another green and you're using, you will need to fussy cut this leaf out. But let's just pop a bit of Tombow on the backs of his. Oh, I can hear something outside. I've got a feeling there's someone who's pressed the intercom on the gate. And obviously my phone is on Do Not Disturb, so they can't deliver my parcel. Which means now Jason will be getting a phone call. Just bear with me, I'm just going to have a look and see if I can see a van at the gates. Can't see anyone. So basically, if anybody comes and they press the intercom, it rings to my phone. But if I don't get to it in time, then it goes to answer phone and I can actually hear it outside. It must be quite loud. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what's going on out there. It may just be a delivery driver and he's pressed to see if I'm in, and then he's going to leave it in my safe place. So I've got my 2 leaves there. Take your little bloom. Now I'm looking for my Tombow lid. You know I like to use that. So just going to give it a bit of a squidge and some Tombow on the back. I'm just reading comments as well. Ruby, you're learning to make mandalas. Oh, okay. Now I'm thinking mandala. Is that like a really decorative shape that you colour in lots of different colours? I know I've seen something like that. You'll have to send me a picture. So we've got a little flower down. Just press that in. And then you'll need to find your gems. These are actually the gold enamel dots. I've used, I think, this size. Feel free to use whatever you like. I'm going to pop those to one side, so I need those for next time. I think I'm going to use this one. Got my take your pick. I can see this going flying across the room. And then just pop this one down. Oh, in the middle of the flower. That will do nicely. Have you all got one of these, guys? They are really, really great. This is the Take Your Pick tool. You can actually now get the piece that goes on the end of here. So it has interchangeable tools. Got a little spatula there, and obviously a pointy pokey tool. And then you've got the glue end tip here for picking up things like sequins. When you've punched out like small pieces, you can pick them up, and basically the lid comes off, and then you can pull off this when, put that in my bin, when the sticky has gone, and then you can just wind out. It's not going to wind out now, is it? Because I wanted it to. Wind out some more. Can you see it coming? And then that's sticky for picking up pieces, which is really, really handy. And there's another piece that goes on, here it is, which is your stylus for embossing. So it's a really cool gadget, really cool gadget. So if you haven't got one of those, you need to pop it on your Christmas list because it is really clever. Okay, so I've got my enamel dot on here. Ruby, you're going to send me a picture. That would be cool. I think I know what you mean. I'm thinking of mandalas, and I'm thinking of like watercolouring pencils and colouring it in. That's what's come into mind. But I'm also thinking of it may layer as well. So be interesting to see. Okay, so you need to locate, and now I can't find mine. Here it is. Your little skinny strip of crumb cake. I'm going to pop some Tombow on the back of here, but I'm not going to run it all the way along. If you have a closer look at my card, it's only touching on the point of where it's going to actually sit on top of here. So I'm just going to pop a bit of Tombow in the middle, and that will be enough to secure it. Maybe first I should have cut it to length. That would have been better. Let's just snip off a piece like that. I think that will be fine. And pop that just below the greeting. Move you along a bit, like that. Now, if you're not happy with these ends floating around, oh look, I've been tomboed. Let's wipe that off. If you're not happy with those ends floating around, what you could do is pick up a dimensional, take the other side off so that it's sticky on both sides, and then just wedge it under there like that. Okay, and then that will stop it from, when it goes in the post, it will stop it from, you know, sticking down flat to your card. Let's, as I've done that, let's put one the other side. Let's try taking the back off first, and then I'm just going to pick it up like that and pop it under there like that. And it's not going anywhere now. It's nice and secure. And finally, you need to take your twine. Do you remember what I said about how curly the twine is? So literally run it between your fingers. If you've got a nail, that's better. Just to smooth it out. You have obviously not got a whole roll of this, you've got a piece, but I always work from the piece that I've got. So I never just randomly cut a piece off and hope that it's going to be long enough. I always work from my spool or my roll, and then if it doesn't turn out right, I can just undo it. So I'm just going to make a loop, fold it under and around the back, and then pull it through a little gap, and then pull the tails until I've got my desired size. And do you remember what I said? If you pinch the middle and pull the tails, you can make your loops shorter. Oop. Just snip that off. That's not very clean ends. Let me grab my larger scissors and my glue dots and just snip those off, and then locate the glue dot, give it a roll. It's not going to want to roll today, any other time it does. Pop it down. Oop, it's coming back with me. Oops. Doesn't want to stay there. Just make that one a little bit smaller. Okay, and there we go. I think we're done. What do we think? Pretty simple. As I say, you don't have to use all my die cut pieces. If you've got the stamps, you can stamp this leaf and you can stamp these leaves. So my die cuts are there to help you put your card together. So let's think about what we're going to have on the greeting on the inside. How are we all doing? Ruby, how are you doing? Are you getting there? Right, I think, so we're using your friendship is something I can count on. I think this follows really nicely. I'm so glad you're in my life. That might be a bit gushy for some of you. But there will be certain occasions when this greeting will be just what you need. So let's just remove that leaf stamp from that block. To pop that on, I've got a bit of glue on there. Find my insert. So we need it landscape to match. Line it up. Just move you to one side, and then I think with the bumblebee ink, there, like that. And what else could we do? Be a bit creative in the corners. Let me just visualize maybe a leaf coming in, or a couple of leaves. I think if you've used, I'm just swapping stamps, if you used this stamp with your Mossy Meadow ink pad or green ink pad, take it back out, give it a clean. I'm going to use the Bumblebee because that's the main colour that we're using. If you want to do this in Mossy Meadow, you can. And I'm literally going to just pop. Oh, I'm not liking this now I've done it. A couple here like this. Just a little bit of something on the inside of your card. Now, what would finish it off, of course, if you've got the dies. In fact, I'm going to do that. Let me check I've got the right one, because I think that will look really pretty. That's the right one. I'm just going to run this through my machine really quickly. Ruby, you're there. Oh, you went out for dinner. You went to dinner with a friend last night, and this card will be ideal for her. Oh, that's really nice. I'm so glad that it is appropriate for you. Just line this in and run it through really quickly. Ellie, how are you getting on? Are you managing to pop some things together? You created anything yet? I've got a bit of a squeak on my cutting machine, can you hear it? There. I think the stitched pieces on these dies just totally finishes it off, don't you? Let's pop this in our card. And how are we doing for time? We're a bit longer today. I'm always worried about my phone battery because my phone's a few years old. It's still doing okay, obviously apart from the microphone issues, but it still serves its purpose as my phone, and I do really like it. But I do find now that the battery isn't performing as well as it used to, and the jack that I have in my phone to connect my microphone to only has one kind of extension, so I'm thinking and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to purchase another, like a dual one, so that I can have my microphone and my charger in at the same time, because I have this awful fear that my battery's going to run out halfway through. So there we go. There's our completed card. I hope you've enjoyed crafting along with me this morning. As I've said, I totally love popping on here and stamping with you guys. So I will be saving this to my YouTube channel, so do head on over there. There are some other videos on there, and there will be some more coming soon. As soon as I have got some of my retreat prep out of the way, I have more videos that are in the line ready to do with some other projects that I've been creating. So I wanted to just share with you today. So that's that card done. Just wanted to remind you before I go of our designer series paper sale. It's absolutely fabulous. We've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 sets of paper here that are in the sale, and some of them are 6 by 6 and some of them are 12 by 12, so do make sure that you take note of that. I popped a post on my blog yesterday at www.kerrytims.co.uk, and there are links to my shop, so you can, if you click on the link, you can actually get a really good view of what's in each pack. So it's a good idea to go and have a look there. So that's our sale. A little sneak peek of something that's coming next month. Right, move you out of the way. I hope we're not going to get too much of a glare here. Let's just move that. This is the Quite Curvy bundle and the Curvy Christmas stamp set. So these are coming next month. They have literally just arrived with me. So I will be playing with these as soon as I can find some time. I'm going to be creating some projects with these. So they will be available to you as customers from the 3rd of November right the way through until the 4th of January. So they are like what's the word? Gone out of my head. They're like a sneak pre-order for you before new catalogue comes. So absolutely loving. I've already seen if any of you follow the Artisan Design team, they've been creating projects with these and I just fell in love. So I'm going to open up the dies. We also have papers, guys. Do you want me to show you those quickly as well? Oh, Ellie, thank you for your lovely comment about my card. So these are the dies. So this large one here, let's just bring this stamp set back in, is going to cut this leafy image. So we've got dies that cut the birds out. We've also got a lovely leaf here, maybe do it that way. And we've got these gorgeous borders as well, so I'm super excited to play with those. But I am really strict with myself and I don't play until the work is done. So the sooner I get the work done, the sooner I can get playing with those new products. And that's the great thing about being a demonstrator. We get to have sneak peeks and pre-orders of products before they go live to our customers. So if anybody is interested in finding out more about joining my team, please do get in touch. There's no pressure from me to do anything. There's no pressure for you to do classes and events. You could just be your own best customer. So never feel that there's pressure from anyone about joining. So the classic Christmas DSP, so it's 6x6. Oh, it's lovely. So you get, I believe, 4 of each sheet. Let's just have a run through of the one side. So we've got Cherry Cobbler, perfect Christmas colour. Oh, these are beautiful. Is this Sahara Sand? Let's have a look. Yep, Sahara Sand. I just love these designs. In fact, I'm going to be ordering another pack of these as soon as I can. They are so usable. I love that these, okay, this may be slightly Christmassy, but you can use these for lots of projects. Let's just give them a turn over. Oh, wow. So lots of shaded spruce, Whisper White. Oh, I love a Spotty Dotty. And Sahara Sand. It's lovely pine trees. These are just stunning. Absolutely love these. That's a bit like a mistletoe, isn't it? Brilliant. So there are 48 sheets in this pack, so lots of paper to get you going. So come back very soon and you will see me creating with those, and I will leave you with a final view of the card that we've made. Thank you all for joining me this morning. Please do take care and I hope to speak with you all soon. So bye for now.